Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of What If Civilization Starts Over. We are on episode number 5. Yeah, 5. And the New World Order is still taking place with all these weird, awkward situations that are kind of happening in this world. So let's just get straight into it. Africa is going to be kind of just being discovered. And it's going to be discovered by the Asian forces, but not too much. Due to the Sarayan... What am I even saying? You know what it's called, guys. You know what it's called. Eventually, the Aegean Sea does not exist. And it sinks. The Mediterranean also is kind of sinking, as many little areas rise up, including like this huge patch of the sea does not exist. And the sea is kind of just drained. Yes, the sea is drained. There will be no Mediterranean Sea. And the sea levels, they're going to wait until the sea levels are perfect, and then they start exploring. Italy is explored, and almost the entirety of Europe is being discovered. Immediately, Africa is also being discovered. And yeah, this is a lot of white on the world map. However, there's still a lot of gray. That's going to change very soon due to the fact that these guys are still exploring, and eventually a lot of South America is being discovered. And eventually they reach the jungle, so they have to stop for now. But upon hearing this, a bunch of new countries are being formed, specifically in Asia, because obviously there's going to be tons of countries spawning here. There is a huge Russian country, and it's going to start from here. It's going to be very small and very economically very bad, but that's what the people decide. And eventually some water does come up, and it forms a lake right here. It forms like a tiny little lake. And guess who's going to own it? This new country that's about to pop up here. They're going to own this, and they're going to love it. They're going to start circling the country, and eventually the lake is discovered. The lake is taken, and they're going to start expanding. They're going to start expanding up. The leak is very low, though, so it could sink at any time. They're going to put their... And then they're going to put their capitals here, and they're going to put their capital right next to the lake. That's their only water source they have. They aren't landlocked, at least, so you guys should be happy. They are not landlocked, but they don't have ocean access. However, these guys shown on the screen right now, these guys are going to go up. They're going to continue going up until they reach this part. Eventually, they're going to split this part with Russia. And yeah, now this country is now actually more stable. We can see that this Russian country kind of pops up here, and this Russian country gets all the rest of this piece. They also discovered these islands. All these islands should be discovered. Well, some of them are not taken, but they're all discovered. Eventually, a force expands into France, and eventually they cross this little strait, and they advance into Great Britain. Eventually, they discover the entire of the British Isles, and France, after some time, is discovered, and the Spaniards are being discovered day by day. And now, yeah, now the map is really white. Look how white this map is, bro. We can also see the New Zealand's being discovered. Also, these little islands, the water has risen a little bit too. So these islands just don't exist. Like, honestly, who needs these islands? And these islands also don't exist. Yeah, they just don't exist. Sorry, but they don't exist. And now we're gonna be seeing these little tiny midget little thick of it. Oh no. Okay, that was not funny. But yeah, you get it. So this South African country is going to push south, and they're going to discover this much of Africa. And they're going to discover Madagascar. Eventually, they're going to start taking it, and they're going to take what they want, because they saw a couple of tribes. They might form countries, so before they form, they want to grab the most land. These tribes immediately agree to become part of this country, and the rest of the tribes are forming a country. One singular South African country is being formed. We can see the South African Union being formed. This is a huge union, and it's between all the tribes, and these guys are going to become a good exploring peoples. The Red Argentinians are going to finally start expanding after a long time and a long series of episodes. And Uruguay and the Argentinians are going to unite because there's really no point of being a country. And now Brazil is going to form. It's not going to be the same Brazil as you see in the movies. It's going to be a different kind of Brazil. A kind that's going to shock your brain. Now this Brazil is going to take... Yeah, they're going to cut off Argentina. So now Argentina cannot expand. So now these guys are going to have to do the work. However, these guys are going to become great friends. So they're going to allow the explorationists to come through and still explore. Together, they were easily able to discover South America. And no, not North America, no. Hold on. Let me actually just fix this. Let me fix it. There we go. Also, these Canadian islands, they sink into the ocean one day. Dude, I swear, I'm never going to use these islands, bro. These islands suck. I'm not covering in all these islands. Yeah, all of this just sinks into the ocean. That's going to be the end of today's episode. And if you guys do enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching.